Hi everybody, welcome to your very last video. It's a little bit more practice with the equation of a circle, but you'll notice that it's not in the standard form. So let's take a look at how we're going to do this. So we're starting on page 28 in your packet, completing the square for circles. Now this is something that you should have learned last year in algebra, but with COVID I know some of the stuff was cut out. So it might seem a little tricky at first, but it's not too bad after you try some. So the first thing we're going to do is get the x's and y's together next to each other. And we're going to move all constants to the other side of the equal sign. And constants are just numbers. So on the right-hand side, you're going to have all the numbers. This doesn't want to write this morning. Come on. Okay. We're going to factor out any number that's in front of the x squared and y squared. We're actually not going to do that. You're not going to have to do anything like that. We're going to create a third term for both x and y by dividing the middle term by 2 and squaring it. And we're going to add it to both sides. And I'll talk more about that. It'll make more sense once we get into it. So we're going to divide the x term by 2 and the y term by 2. And the number that we're going to get is going to go right here. All right, because then if you notice, whatever's with x in the parentheses will be the x value in your center point of your circle. Whatever's with y will be the y value. And over here is your radius squared. Okay, so let's actually look at it together. So first of all, I'm going to put the x squared first, and then the plus 8x. Oh my goodness. And then I'm going to leave a space, and I'm going to put those in parentheses. All right, because we're getting it to look like the standard equation. Now I'm going to have the y squared and the minus 6y, and I'm going to leave a space. Equals, see this plus 21? That's your constant. If it goes over here, it's going to be a minus 21. So we're slowly going to make it look like the equations that we worked with yesterday. Okay, so now I like to jump down here. We're going to put it in that form now. What are you doing here? Okay, here we go. So, oh my goodness. Last video and it's going to be complicated. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take whatever is with x right here and divide it by 2. Since it's plus 8x, it's going to be in here. We're going to have x plus 4 squared. Now this, if that really was 4 squared, you would see a plus 16. So I'm going to just add 16 over here. Because you can't just add one thing to one side. You can't just randomly add a 16. Now we're going to do the same with the y. Half of negative 6 is negative 3. Now if it was negative 3 squared, it would be a plus 9 here. So we're going to put a plus 9 on both sides. And you're only a few steps away. If you add negative 21, 16, and 9, you get 4. So now you have your standard equation for your circle, where your center, remember, change the signs, would be negative 4, positive 3, and your radius would be the square root of 4, which is 2. Okay, so let's just try a couple others like that. Again, put your x's and y's together. I noticed that this 24y needs to be over here, so it's going to be a minus 24y. The negative 120 is already over here. So again, your first step, put your x's and y's together. So I have an x squared and a plus 2x. Okay, and I'm going to leave a space. And then I have a y squared and a minus 24y, and I'm going to leave a space, equals my constant, negative 120. Okay, so now it's time to put it in standard form. Half of 2, whoops, erase that. Half of 2 is 1, so it's x plus 1 squared. And if it really was 1 squared, it would be a plus 1. So we just got to add 1 over here. Now we'll do the same with the y's. Half of negative 24 is negative 12, so it's y minus 12 squared. If it really was minus 12 squared, we'd add 144. Anything squared is always positive. And again, you can't just randomly add something to one side of the equation and not the other. And when we add all these numbers together, negative 120 plus 1 plus 144, it's going to give you 25. So your center, remember, change the signs, negative 1, positive 12. And then your radius would be the square root of 25, which would be 5. Okay, let's just look at a couple more. So again, I see this minus x squared. I need to put it over here, so it's going to be a plus x squared. All right, time to group. We've got that plus x squared and plus 8x. Leave a space. And then we have our y squared plus 32y. Leave a space. Equals negative 263. Okay, time to do this. We'll divide both of these by 2. So we have x plus 4 in parentheses squared. So we have a plus 16 up here. That's what 4 squared is, and a plus 16 over here. And then we have a y plus 16. 32 divided by 2 is 16 squared. If you really had 16 squared, it would be a plus 256. So I'm going to do that to both sides. And when we add all 3 of those numbers up, don't forget the negative, you get 9. So your center is negative 4, negative 16, and your radius is the square root of 9, which is 3. All right, last one. All your x's and y's are on the left and your constants on the right, so we're ready to go. I've got my x squared and my 4x. So I'm going to group, leave a space, plus I just have a y squared there. So that would be like y squared plus 0. Okay, let's cut them in half. So we have x plus 2 squared. So we would need a plus 4 here. And then y squared plus 0 would just be plus y squared. So we're not adding anything else. 5 and 4 gives you 9. So with this one, I know it looks funny, but your center would be negative 2, 0, and your radius would be the square root of 9, 3. All right, last question. What are the coordinates of the center and the length of the radius? This is what it would look like on the regions. Again, let's move these to the other side. So we're going to have x squared. It's going to be a minus 8x in a space. And then you have y squared minus 6y. Oops. And then a space. And the 39 is already over there. Okay, so let's cut it in half. So we have x minus 4 squared. So we'd have to add 16 to both sides. And then we have y minus 3 squared. So we'd have to add 9 to both sides. And when we do that, we get 64. So your center, notice I'm not even looking at the multiple choice right now. Positive 4, positive 3. And the square root of 64 is 8 for your radius. So there's a couple ways they can get you if you forget to take the square root. And then if you forget to change the sign, they've got an answer for that. So your answer Oh, what did I forget? Oh, this was a plus 6y. See, little things like that because we had to move it to the other side. I said it, but I forgot to do it. So your center's -3. And I got myself there. So it's going to be choice 4. Okay, that's it for the year. We'll get more practice, and you'll notice that the practice is all review. And we're going to continue reviewing for the Regents. But again, just get this page completed, and then you can start working on the review for the chapter starting on page 29. Have a great day.